much. Thanks for the opportunity to be here and speak to you. First, when you hear all the conversations previously, you hear some of the topics that are being discussed about marketing, targeting, sales. I'm in sales. I sell public safety. That's what we sell here in the Sheriff's Department, and I want to be the Nordstroms of law enforcement. And a high-level, high-service provider. That's, the ladies get it. But when you get down to what everything you've probably heard before about the different marketing strategies, everybody, before anybody wants to buy a house or go shopping or where they buy a car, first and foremost, they want to be safe. They want to be safe in the community. It's one of the highest performance indicators of a community is the perception of safety. Orange County has some of the safest communities in the United States. Some of those, in fact, the top 10 communities in Orange County are patrolled by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. But we are a data-driven organization. We just came from a allocation deployment model, how you staff resources, how you put them on a week. Most importantly, and what I want to talk to you about what we're doing today is, you may not have heard of this, but it's already being recognized nationally. What we're doing here in Orange County is a real-time operations center. Just around the corner over by the blimp hangars in Tustin, we purchased a 130,000 square foot building. We're centralizing a lot of disparate divisions within the Sheriff's Department, but most importantly, we're focused on analyzing data and putting it back out to keep our community safe. And part of that are AI algorithms and platforms that we're ingesting into the Orange County Sheriff's Department Real-Time Operations Center. Some of you may have already heard of LPR, license plate readers. We have facial recognition software that we're putting in place. Most importantly for me, I'm big on governance and constitutional rights, making sure there's guardrails in place that those are used responsibly, so they don't violate anybody's rights and used appropriately. A lot of these AI algorithms, they're very robust. If you watch any show, NSI, CSI, they make it look like we take a picture, we match, and that's not how they work. It's not a perfect science. But the tools that we use, that we have for data, to drive data, is also a pointer system, and there's collaboration methods we use that for with public-private partnerships. What I'm most concerned about is the AI that will be used against us. There's a lot of platforms that have been put in place. Some seemingly are innocuous. Generative AI, being able to take images. We already know what can happen with deep fakes. Have you seen some of the things that probably you've been aware of over the last several years? Working with legislation federally, so if somebody uses a deep fake, takes a lady's face and puts it on a body and uses it to extort from them, that image cannot be used in a criminal case because it's not an actual image of the person. Changing legislation so the mere fact of using somebody's face on another body can be then used in a criminal trial to deter some of these things. What I'm most concerned about now going into the next election year is generative AI. There are already political campaigns being pressed that will take generative AI, meaning I can say, show me a picture, create a video of Donald Trump riding a donkey, and it will do that. I just picked Donald Trump just as an image, or Donald Trump with Dr. Fauci, and show these images and put them in a very disparaging light to try to influence voters. We also have foreign line influence that's on steroids right now between Iran and North Korea, Russia and China, that's using these types of generative AI. And now you can take a voice sample, an MP3 voice sample, you only need about 3 seconds of my voice to simulate my voice over a video layover and show me saying things, doing things that I would not be doing, with intent of discrediting our election system and influencing elections going forward. And this is going to be probably the most trying time over the next several years. So we had a lot of data in the previous slides. If I ask you these two things, how many times have we received a bomb threat at a school that actually resulted in a bomb being in a school? Anybody know? It's on less than one hand. Twice in the history of the United States. How do you use AI platforms to go through, analyze the information coming in from a caller to know that this is more than likely not true? How do you take AI to look at the platforms that are being ingested into calls for service or 911 centers, that you can use algorithms to say that's a fake, that's not a true profile on a social media platform? So we can start to come up with probability factors that these huge resource allocations that we do every single day to send deputies to schools, bomb teams to schools. By the way, 1915 and 1970 are the last two times that's happened. How do you use AI to go through some of these calls coming in that are oftentimes artificially generated of an active shooter? There's no history of ever this happening before where an active shooter called 911 before and said, I'm going to go shoot something up. It has never happened. There have been tripwires that we have seen pre-incident indicators, somebody's vocalizing on social media platforms that they have an ideology or they're changing, but there's never been a case that somebody's called 911 and said, I'm going to go here and shoot people. It's never happened in all the active shooter incidents we've seen. How do you use AI to do that? And more importantly, we talk about generative AI. How do you take these images and use the counter AI platform to take that image, video, voice profile, drop it into an algorithm and say there's a probability this is a fake image, this is a fake video, a generative AI video produced, or this is not actually the person's voice. Because if you can use AI to create profiles, videos, images, you can use the same AI reversely to go through and validate or invalidate those images so we stop harming people or deploying resources. This has been a very trying time. We're in and by the way, that's what we're doing. So all these platforms that we are building going forward, working with the same companies that create this AI. I sit in several technology committees, I'm in several intelligence committees nationally, talking to the people that create these solutions to say, as you're looking at these solutions and some of these risks that are being created to make us less safe or to deploy resources or to get people to act in different ways, how do you use the same AI to validate or invalidate that? Because it's most important to us. I have a very limited budget. I don't have a finite budget, but I want to make sure when I do deploy resources, it's always for the right reason, for the right time, to do the right thing, and not go through. One of the issues we're facing right now is the term swatting. You may not have heard what swatting is. Swatting is getting some platform, oftentimes gaming platforms, to elicit a law enforcement response at a location that's not where an incident is happening. And we've had some very bad outcomes in this country's recent history where we encounter individuals, a SWAT team responds because somebody says, I'm just shot my sister. And they go there, it's not the location, it's a hoax. How to use the same platforms, which we are now working on, to validate or invalidate these calls so they're not sending people into harm's way or putting the public at risk while doing so that we can keep our community safe. The threat horizon is much broader than it was just 2 decades ago post 9/11. We're dealing with so much more at the boots on the ground level locally that I hope you can appreciate, but you're probably absolutely unaware of how we're operating here, not just in Orange County, but across the country. But I can tell you this, in my experience, and I don't want to sound like a braggart, we are ahead of the curve in Orange County. Being ahead of the curve also makes you a target by your adversaries. So I'm very proud of the work we're doing. You'll see more about a real-time operations center and how we're building it forward. All the information we're bringing in from around us. But what we're seeing now, generative AI, ChatGPT 4.0, and all these things that are coming online, is the greatest technological evolvement since the creation of the internet. And in doing that, we have a responsibility to put up appropriate guardrails and governance as best as we can so it does not get misused or used against us in nefarious ways. And I know there are smart people in the room, and I hope that I piqued your attention or pointed you in a direction where you can help us as partners, co-producers of your safety, to help keep our community here in Orange County safe. I thank you for your time. I think I hopefully got us back on track. But I really appreciate the time, and I really will ask you to do this. Please pay attention to what's happening and really watch what we're doing here in the Orange County Sheriff's Department. We're doing phenomenal things that have put us significantly on the map in the producers of policing and law enforcement programs throughout the country, being emulated and highlighted in many different ways. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our catalyst.